SAT prep time, non-calc geometry action going on. A summer camp counselor wants to find a length X in feet across a lake as represented in the sketch above. The lengths represented by AB, EB, BD, and CD on the sketch were determined to be 1,800 feet, 1,400 feet, 700 feet, and 800 feet respectively. That means in that order. Segments AC and DE intersect at B, and angle AEB and angle CDB have the same measure. What is the value of X? Well, because those two angles have the same measure and we have these two vertical angles that are congruent, these two triangles are similar to each other. So I can set up a proportion with some of the known side lengths. Let's label our side lengths. All right, so I've got my triangles labeled here with their lengths, and I also started a similarity statement because I think that'll help in setting up our proportion. Well, I have triangle AEB is similar to triangle which one? Well, E needs to match up with angle D since they have one mark on them, and I know B needs to match up with B because it has two arcs on it, which leaves C to be the first one there. Now I can set up a proportion. I know that EB with the 1,400, which is this one, matches up with BD, which is the 700 right there. So let's set up a proportion with that information. So I've got 1,400 over 700, the comparison of those two sides. Now I want to figure out what X is, and that comes from my larger triangle, so it'll be associated with that 1,400. I got to have it in the numerator. Okay. Now the other side that's associated with that X right there that we want is my DC side, right? Because that was AE, which is the first two, and DC, first two in the similarity statement there. So I'm going to have 800 right here. Whenever I set up a proportion, I always double check things and say, okay, well, the 1,400 is for my large triangle as well as the X. Large triangle's up top, and then my smaller triangle is down in my denominator. And then when I look at the 1,400 and the 700, those are the corresponding sides of the two similar triangles, and the X and the 800 are also corresponding sides. So we're agreeing going across, we're agreeing going up and down. Boom. Let's cross multiply and solve. But hold up, those are some big numbers. Perhaps we can go ahead and simplify. I can cancel out some zeros here, and then I'm left with just 14 over 7, which is 2 over 1. Let's leave it as a fraction right now. So 2 over, not X, 2 over 1. And then over here, I'm going to have X over 800. I can't do any simplifications there, but I can do 2 times 800. That's going to be 1,600 or 1,600 equals 1X or just X. Boom. There's my answer. Since this is free response, we're going to have to grid it in. That's 1,600. So I'm going to be 1, 6, 0, 0. The grid in is what counts. You can write this in up here, but that's really just to organize yourself. You have to grid those bubbles in. That was dope.